Christmas is the season for giving. Most of us spent weeks, if not months, buying presents for our friends and loved ones. But it took less than 15 minutes for Tommy Russell and Rick Wolken to give a stranger the perfect gift, the gift of life, just 2 days before Christmas. For their tremendous bravery, Tommy Russell and Rick Wolken are our 2014 Lifesaver Hometown Heroes. On December 23rd, around 8:45 p.m., an SUV ran off the side of Highway 32 about 5 miles west of Lebanon. It struck a tree at a high rate of speed and overturned, partially ejecting the driver.
I was driving along West 32 on my way home, and this car came flying up behind me and was riding my tail end, and then he finally had passed me, and I came up along the car 3 or 4 minutes later, and it was completely flipped over and on fire, and so I pulled over and called 911.
As Tommy Russell was driving home from work that night, he saw smoke from the wreckage and noticed his niece's car was pulled over.
So I got out and got my flashlight and walked around the smoke in the car, and then I seen the other side of the accident. My niece had pulled over and thought, oh my goodness, she's been involved in a wreck or something. She's standing outside the car there, and her name's Ashley Aubrey. And she was on the phone already with 911.
So 911 told me to go down there and see if the guy was okay, to see if there was anybody in the car. He was completely just blown out of the car, and all he kept saying was, ow, ow. You know, and that's just, you know, something that you don't see every day. You don't see somebody, you know, completely just blown out of their car, you know, and the fire almost touching them, you know. And so when my uncle, you know, pulled up, I was like, you know, he's gonna catch on fire. You know, like, he's in the car still. And
she told him that the SUV had sped past them on the road, and they saw it wreck just minutes later.
So I walked up on the car, and he's hanging out of the car. He was moaning in pain and on fire, and so I seen a car go by, and I told them to go get fire extinguishers.
Neighbor called and said there'd been a bad wreck just down the road from the house. Wanted to know if we had any fire extinguishers, and so I grabbed a couple fire extinguishers and grabbed a coat and a jacket and ran down to the highway with them.
Oh, it was horrible to watch the guy sit there and burn to death, knowing that I could do nothing. My hands were tied. He was stuck in the car. You know, the steering wheel had his legs and his knees pinched in there, and there was no way I could get him out, and I had no fire extinguisher, you know, which to, you know, put the fire out or anything. The fire was too bad. There was oil burning and gasoline, and all that plastic dash was just burning like crazy. You know, and I just knew that I'm gonna watch this guy die, and there's nothing I can do if I don't at least try to do something. You know, the first attempt to try to get him out of there, I pulled and pulled, and it wasn't moving, and then I went back, and you know, it all happened so quick. You know, by the second time I was back there trying to pull him out of there, I went and got my leather gloves and came back, and you know, broke his belt and broke his belt loops, and finally I wadded up his jeans and pulled so hard on that by then my fingers was just give out, and my body was just, I was completely exhausted because my adrenaline just had been pumping like crazy. You know, you're just a nervous wreck thinking, what do you do, what do you do? The dash had got hot enough that it all had melted and fell on his legs and his kneecaps, and that plastic had just melted around his knees and was flaming like crazy, just burning, you know. And so that's what actually helped him get out of the car. It released the dash, the plastic, to where he could come free. And so that's how I was able to get him out of there, by part of the dash burning away.
Got down there, the car was fully engulfed in flames. Tommy come out from around the car where the flames was. You could tell he was exhausted from trying to get the guy out.
So after I got the guy out there, I looked up, you know, the flames are everywhere, and here comes, just like an angel, Rick come running up to the accident. You know, we've seen him through all the light, you know, come running up to the accident, and brought 2 fire extinguishers.
The fire extinguishers was too far gone. We threw them down. I told him, I said, we've got to get him and get him out of here. This thing's gonna blow up, because when I got there, it was fully engulfed. I mean, it was flames from one end of the car to the other. I told Tommy, I said, we got to get him out of here, because I said, this thing's gonna blow up, and I said, let's go now. And he grabbed one side of him, I grabbed the other, and we wore it was just a few seconds. We got him away from him, and the automobile blew up. And it was loud enough that the whole neighborhood started coming in, because they didn't have any idea what had happened. And it blowed parts of the dash all over the back of my coat, my coveralls, burnt the back of Tommy's hair. I got some burn on my hand. that wasn't protected, but it just blew the plastic of that car all over the place. It was about one of the most powerful explosions I've been around.
And they had finally got him out. The car exploded. And I was busy, trying to get my cousins in, and I didn't see if they had made it far enough away from the explosion, and so I was just like, where's, have you seen Tommy? Where's my Uncle Tommy?
And about that time, I'm not sure if it was shotgun shells, what it was, but something else started exploded in the car, and of course everybody we scattered. Him and I were in the ditch, and Tommy was over there trying to get his hearing back, and it's unbelievable how to describe your hearing loss that you have at the time that you're so close to a loud explosion.
It could have been a lot worse. I could have had severe burns, and it's just a good thing that Rick came running up when he did. And so many people don't want to help whenever they see an accident, and probably shouldn't sometimes, but you just got to do what you got to do when you get put in that situation.
Tommy and I we've grown up together. We're neighbors. We're pretty close, and it's just one of them things. You see somebody in trouble like that, you got to help them. You don't even take consideration into your own life or anything else. Somebody's laying there, you got to help them. There's just no time to think about it. You just got to do what's right and do it.
The brave actions of Tommy and Rick most certainly saved that driver from burning to death. And in those 12 minutes, 3 lives were changed forever. For risking their own lives to save the life of a stranger, and for creating a Christmas memory no one will soon forget. We honor Tommy Russell and Rick Wolken as our 2014 Lifesaver Hometown Heroes.